The former city administrator of Flint, Michigan, filed a lawsuit yesterday, alleging she was fired for reporting that Mayor Karen Weaver told her staff to direct donations away from water crisis funds and towards her own personal political action committee. The mayor says the termination was part of her platform of protecting Flint residents from officials who had let them down. So this former city administrator is Natasha Henderson, and she filed the lawsuit yesterday in a Detroit, United States District Court. And she's claiming, as I said, that Karen Weaver fired her because she was alerted and was looking to investigate Karen Weaver for directing funds to her personal action committee, her personal political action committee, rather. So now, just to give you a little bit of detail, the Community Foundation of Greater Flint actually manages the funds for the Safe Water, Safe Home campaign fund, and that is meant to restore the city's water after obviously the water crisis that they've been undergoing. So just to give some details about what the allegations are on behalf of Henderson, allegedly Maxine Murray, who is Karen Weaver's executive assistant, she came to Ms. Henderson and said that she feared going to jail because she had recently she'd been told to direct donors to donate to Karen's political action committee, which is called Karen About Flint, as opposed to the Safe Water fund, rather. So Henderson then claims that she wrote to the then attorney at that time, the state attorney's office, saying that an investigation needed to be done, and then later did not receive a response. 2 days pass, and then she is brought into Weaver's office and fired. So again, we'll go into some details there. She thinks that it's very fishy. She thinks that this was clearly retaliation as opposed to what Weaver says, which is, you know, she initially said that the city was not able, or the state rather, was not able to afford Henderson's salary anymore. But of course, Henderson says she's paid by the city, not the state. So already it seemed a little bit dicey.
Right. And so she was the highest paid non-elected official that was employed, right? So she was on $140,000 a year. So just to contextualize it for people, for the viewers, that they know, I mean, it's a significant salary.
Right. And she was hired in early 2015. She was brought on to actually help with the Flint crisis recovery. She was a key player in getting Michigan to give $6 million to Flint in order to go back to the Detroit water system as opposed to the Flint River, which is what caused the whole fiasco. So she was brought on to help out. Yes, that is the highest paid position without being elected. And the severance package that she was given was half that. It was about $70,000. So of course she's seeking punitive damages and compensatory damages and what have you. So according to Henderson's attorney, she has this to say. She says, "It was not until this report that there was any discussion of her being fired. My client was brought in to help the city of Flint. She did a very good job in that regard. She did the right thing here to report this red flag, and she was punished for it." So yeah, her contract was supposed to run until February 2020. And in order for somebody in her position to be fired, there would have to be some kind of agreement between not only the mayor, the city council, but then also the receivership transition advisory board. So the lawyer is saying that there was basically a breach of contract there, that there was not the proper protocol passed. Of course, Karen Weaver, when writing an email to Governor Rick Snyder's office, said, I took it upon myself. I followed my own initiative to complete this firing. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard because, of course, these are all allegations. This is all speculative. At the same time, if the allegations are true, I think it's extremely problematic because already there's a severe distrust on behalf of the people of Flint because of, you know, elected officials' lack of good judgment or their mishandling of certain things. So Karen Weaver, who is very well liked in Flint and has actually been a huge proponent for the residents of Flint, to me, that's why I found this compelling, because it would be very disheartening for me. What do you think?
Well, what this speaks to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what this hinges on is two things. Is number one, the existence of this fund, which then was allegedly Karen About Fund, which was allegedly for her, is part of her political action campaign, so it's her re-election campaign or personal funds for her. And the second aspect is the extent to which this employee was directed to tell people calling in to funnel funds or to channel funds there. Now, so it hinges on those two things, and the existence of this fund, we don't really know too many details as to how long that fund was in existence, what the actual purposes of that fund were. And secondly, in terms of the employee who allegedly was telling people to send their money, or when donations were coming in, to direct their funds towards this fund as opposed to the Flint Water Crisis Fund, the more specific one that was set up. there's no statement. She's not available for comment.
Right.
So a lot of this is speculative at the
Exactly.
moment, based on what we have thus far. There's not a lot of corroborating evidence in support.
And I mean, and, you know, no trial dates have even been set. There hasn't been a response on behalf of, you know, people receiving this lawsuit. And yes, many people involved have not been available for comment. Karen Weaver has not been available for comment. Ms. Murray, the one who initially came to Henderson, she's not available for comment. The Karen about Flint, this political action committee, it's not a registered political action committee. That being said, Karen about Flint was Karen Weaver's campaign slogan. That's her Twitter handle and everything. So there's this one area where you're like, well, it seems kind of like a big story to complete out of nowhere. At the same time, from Karen Weaver's perspective, she justifies the firing because she says, for example, part of protecting the residents of Flint is getting rid of officials who had let them down. So that's why she justifies firing her. Sure. She says that Henderson had previously said she had tried to stop Weaver from declaring a state of emergency in Flint over the water crisis. Of course, Henderson denies all of that. So a lot of this, it's like I said, it's very speculative. At the same time, you know, I guess we'll find out. To me, I just think, again, if the allegations are true, it's a potentially even more disheartening outcome for the people of Flint who have already had to go through so much.